ये अपना काम नहीं समझता।
वैसे तो पावर का इलेक्शन कमीशन को बहुत पावर है।
तो हमारे फ्यूचर सिटीजन्स पैदा हो जाएंगे, वो ऐसे होंगे जो टैक्स कंप्लायंट होंगे।
जहां होते हैं आपके सवाल और हमारे जवाब। Welcome back. You're watching ISAT, and today we are talking about financial inclusion, the growth of the banking sector in the country. Mr. Sharma, what are the other impediments to the growth of the banking sector in this country, and are we beginning to address them effectively?
In fact, if so far as my experience of last 20 years is concerned, I think that the banking has come out very well. We have developed a lot. Our systems and procedures have developed a lot. We are now touching the international standards. Everything, so far as from the opening of the account to the investment, is now being regulated by Reserve Bank of India. No, earlier the banks were allowed to invest in non-SLR securities. There was no such very rigid investigation or any limitation and all that. But now everything is there, that if you have to invest, then you have to invest in the liquid securities only, the debt securities only, and to a certain limit of 10% or so and so. So far as the banking is concerned, as Mr. Agarwal said, it is now coming up very well, and this is definitely on a very sound footing.
All right.
So far as the coverage area of is concerned, that whole of the country is not covered.
Nearly half of it is not covered.
I have got a report of this Economic Times today, which speaks that 50 bottom line districts of the country have got 2% of the bank branches only.
That's right.
Whereas 6 top cities have 11% branches.
That's right.
Of the branches.
This is what the CRISIL report presents.
So far as the unbanked areas are concerned, that is a problem, that we don't have deposits, and unless and until we have a deposit, the Reserve Bank of India's policy says that you should shut down the loss making branches, and definitely if there is no deposit, there cannot be any credit. So to give a bigger and bigger boost to those societies, to those districts, to those regions where the economic activity is very small, first of all we will have to address that part.
Okay.
Because you will see, if this CRISIL report says 28.5% is the mark for northeastern region,
right,
and 28.6% is of eastern region, and 62.2% is the score for southern region. Mr. Agarwal was also saying very seriously that the money collected from northern region, eastern region, was being sent back to the western region. The CD ratio of Goa was, once upon a time, it was 160%.
All right.
The Gujarat and Maharashtra were 110% and 120%. This regional disparity should go.
All right.
The money of Delhi, the money of Uttar Pradesh, the money of Madhya Pradesh has to be deployed here only, because it has got a accelerating effects. If the deposits of one city or the state is deployed anywhere else, then definitely the other state will prosper.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Agarwal, this aspect of deposits, Mr. Sharma said that there is a regional disparity as far as deposits are concerned, and also he points out that those areas which lack in the availability of banking branches, those are areas where deposits are not too high. They are proven areas where deposits are not high. Is that the reality, or what is your assessment of that?
That is actually the reality. But at the same time, we can't really do too much of regulation. The banks need to have some kind of freedom in terms of both mobilization as well as deployment. As far as disparities are concerned, they are too wide in the country, and the banks need to really ensure, because there need to be sufficient entrepreneurs and industrialists in those regions where funds are being mobilized, so that the banks can deploy those funds over there.
All right.
But at the same time, they can't really squeeze a particular region or a particular area and then take that money out and put it somewhere else, because they can't be just for mobilization of the funds from that particular region as such. Now, there are several, if we really are able to remove these disparities, if we are able to really generate more deposits, if our managers and our bankers are outgoing and they really take steps to really mobilize resources, this should be one of the very important factor for them. Not that they sit, recline on their chair and wait for a customer to come. They should try to educate areas with disadvantaged people, the people who are weaker sections of the society, who are living in the slums and who are living in even unauthorized colonies in the urban sector. And in the rural area, there are rich and there are people who have money. They keep it under the pillow. They keep it under the pots, as a matter of fact, and at times they have a fear of being stolen. Those funds can be brought into the banking channels, which can be used for the purposes of growth in the country. Now, these deposits at the same time, they can even encourage people. One of the suggestions which I can make it, that if a habit can be generated right from class 9th in various schools to open a bank account. A 9th class student opens a bank account. Maybe he would open it with 50 rupees or 100 rupees.
Some banks are now starting it.
Once he opens a bank account, he will develop a habit. His mother who is illiterate, his father who is not literate, he is a farmer or he is a construction worker, he may encourage, okay, you put this money in your bank account. And then those funds can be utilized for the purposes of growth in the country.
But for that, every farmer needs at least a branch close to him where he can open an account.
But government has done a lot in this regard, particularly the Kisan credit cards has become in a big way to introduce some kind of scheme and awaken farmers that you can really, the banking can be very helpful to you. This education need to be spread in rural areas. This need to be spread in slums and unauthorized colonies of India and the urban sectors of the economy. They have money, as a matter of fact. And I can give one example. The type of donations received by all religious temples, mosques and churches indicates the quantity of money with poorer sections of the society have and donates. Rich, of course, also donate, but poorer sections donate smaller quantity but larger amounts. And as a matter of fact, funds lying with them, they can be mobilized and put it into the banks, channels, which can be used for the economic growth of the country. We have funds in this country.
Right. Shantanu, this aspect about deposits being low in many areas where branches are not there, that seems to be a legitimate concern. If deposits are not there, why would a bank open a branch?
We have been discussing
it would have NPAs. Its NPAs would just go up.
Exactly, it is. But it is up to the banks. What we are talking here is to develop a next generation payment and receiving system. The current gateways for the banks and for the customers are a little high end, so a lot of people are not getting into that zone to try and put money into the bank. The bank has to make it simpler for a poor man to probably who has an Aadhaar card to try, or maybe use some other biometrics for a person to go and put in money there. There are various ways the banks can actually reach out to people. There are ways by utilizing a mobile technology. The bank can always reach out, because we are a hugely mobile network zone. If the banks do it, I think once again lack of manpower has often hampered banks' progress.
The business correspondence model was an innovation that we saw.
But that has not really worked. Why it has not worked? Because again, the gateway for people to come in and put in money is a very high-end gateway. You will have to make it simpler for a man to come and put in the money. Why did the Ponzi schemes guys run away with all the cash? Because they just went to the man's house and said, for all this cash, don't keep it at home, give it to me. In 1 year's time, I'll double it. So the first time he actually doubled the money, but next time when he put more money, then he ran away with that money. Here, if the banker would have done it, he would have gained considerable success, but he would have got not only the first tranche of money, the second tranche of money, but of course at a much lower interest.
Right.
That has to be explained to that man, that given the current state of the economy, nobody can guarantee you a 300% jump in 3 years. So I think that once again it comes back to the situation of the banks, which have a huge responsibility now.
All right.
If you are looking at 600 million customers, which the government mandates by 2020, they have to find new generation payment systems and banking systems which the common man of this country, people in the rural areas, would be able to utilize.
All right.
And that is where the main issue lies. If the banks can do it successfully, they are home.
All right. Mr. Sharma, as a commercial bank, what are the commercial banks? What else is the problem of a commercial bank? What else is there that prevents it from opening more and more branches in the country?
More and more branches, you know, as we had just discussed, branches are there in all urban areas, semi-urban areas. But if you are going to open an account, any branch in any rural area,
Yeah.
rural area again means the area where you have got 2,000 households
Plus.
or so.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The problem, so many problems are there. Number one, the power is not there. Power, if it is not available, then you know you are not connected with the CBS.
A legitimate infrastructure problem.
Legitimate
Power is not
infrastructure,
there.
yeah, you can say like this.
That is something
Then-
which even the existing RRBs suffer from, the regional rural banks.
Because I am telling you only the ground facts.
Right. Power.
Power.
Okay.
Then the transportation of the cash from one side to the other. If you have got a, you know, immediately you may have to shift cash from your branch to the nearest main branch, or from a main branch to the that branch
Right.
for withdrawal and for deposits, etc. So that is also a bigger problem, because you know you need a safety. In many parts of the country, there is no law and order, absolutely no law and order. Ponzi schemes are successful because the people are going there, and there are lot of you know, lot of things are there in Ponzi schemes. The collectors are getting heavily priced, and everything is going that way. But so far as the banking is concerned, as you were saying, the banking correspondent module, the amount which was being paid to the correspondent was so minute, so little, so less that you know it could have never succeeded. I had discussed with the State Bank of India 4 years back that this scheme will never succeed. They say no, you know, we have discussed this with the head office level. All the schemes which are made at the head office level, they do not work at the grassroots level. In fact, the scheme should go from the grassroots level to the head office.
Yeah.
But this is the ply.
But the government's figures claims that the business correspondent model has led to the opening up of more than 1.5 lakh.
I know.
accounts and
But
access of people.
But what is the success rate? You know, and what is the cost effectiveness of that?
All right.
If you are, first of all, if you have to give a law and order situation, then I can establish a branch in rural areas also. My staff should feel safe and secured. Then again the problem of the staff coming down from some urban areas or some semi-urban areas to that branch. So this is a staffing pattern problem. Then schooling and many other things. Apart from the financials, which I had said earlier,
Right.
that the financials are not available, but all these kinds of infrastructural problems will also have to be addressed.
So there are some basic infrastructure related problems as well when we talk about opening up of more and more branches. There is a lack of power in rural areas, there is a lack of availability of adequate roads and safe transportation of money from one bank branch to another. But the banking sector is on the threshold of opening up. We are expecting more and more corporates. As soon as more license, government will be giving out more licenses, we are expecting more corporates to come into this field and open up more branches. RBI is expecting some innovative approaches for them, so that financial inclusion, so that the spread of financial services increases in the country. How can that happen? What kind of innovativeness the sector is expecting? That question on the other side of the short break that we are slipping into. Stay tuned to Inside.
चार पाँच छह पंजे
30।
अरे वाह, दिमाग तो हवाई जहाज ही तेरा।
हवाई जहाज नहीं, रॉकेट।
हाँ, रॉकेट। राकेट जी कहाँ?
अम्मा खेत में आई है।
जा। रख ले। मुन्नी बीमार जो होने वाली है।
बीमार
नहीं होगी, खुले में शौच करेगी, उस पे मंडराएंगी मक्खियाँ, फिर वही मक्खियाँ तेरे बनाए खाने पर बैठ उसे दूषित करेंगी और मुन्नी को बीमार।
ये तो बड़ी दूर की सोची आपने।
तू भी सोच, घर में शौचालय बनवा और इस्तेमाल कर।
शुरू कर निर्मल भारत अभियान।
जहाँ सोच वहाँ शौचालय।
4 बातों से नाता जोड़ो, कहो कुपोषण भारत छोड़ो। 1. गर्भवती को खाना अच्छा। 2. पहला गाढ़ा दूध है सच्चा। 3. 6 महीने सिर्फ स्तनपान। 4. फिर स्तनपान और पोषण का ध्यान।
जी हाँ, अपने बच्चों को कुपोषण से बचाना है तो ये 4 बातें जरूर याद रखें। 1. गर्भवती को खाना अच्छा। 2. पहला गाढ़ा दूध है सच्चा। 3. 6 महीने सिर्फ स्तनपान। और 4. फिर स्तनपान और पोषण का ध्यान। तो 4 बातों से नाता जोड़ो, कहो कुपोषण भारत छोड़ो।
ए, बंद करो, निपट गया भैया।
काकी, घर में शौचालय कहाँ है? बहू को
घर में कहाँ, खुले में ही जाना पड़ेगा।
बहू, फिर तो तुम घूंघट भी खोल ही दो। एक तरफ तो आपको बहू का घूंघट भी सरकाना गवारा नहीं, और दूसरी तरफ उससे खुले में।
इस तरह तो हमने कभी सोचा ही नहीं था।
तो अब सोचो, घर में शौचालय बनवाओ और इस्तेमाल करो।
शुरू कर निर्मल भारत अभियान।
जहाँ सोच वहाँ शौचालय।
श्यामू, देखो फिर आ रहा है, नया टीवी मांगेगा। मैं निकलता हूँ, तू टाल दियो।
जरा रुकिए।
हाँ बोलिए।
ये देखिए कंज्यूमर कोर्ट का फैसला।
ये कागज किसी और को दिखाना, इससे कुछ नहीं होगा।
अब जरूर होगा। अदालत का आदेश न मानने पर तुम्हारे खिलाफ वारंट जारी हो सकता है।
तो क्या?
तो तुम्हें 3 वर्ष तक का कारावास या 10,000 रुपए तक का जुर्माना या दोनों हो सकते हैं। समझे?
समझ गया।
जागो ग्राहक जागो।
4, 5, 6 पंजे
30।
अरे वाह, दिमाग तो हवाई जहाज थे।
हवाई जहाज नहीं, रॉकेट।
हाँ, रॉकेट।
राकेट जी कहाँ?
अम्मा खेत में आई है।
जा।
रख ले। मुन्नी बीमार जो होने वाली है।
बीमार
नहीं होगी, खुले में शौच करेगी, उस पे मंडराएंगी मक्खियाँ, फिर वही मक्खियाँ तेरे बनाए खाने पर बैठ उसे दूषित करेंगी और मुन्नी को बीमार।
ये तो बड़ी दूर की सोची आपने।
तू भी सोच, घर में शौचालय बनवा और इस्तेमाल कर।
शुरू कर निर्मल भारत अभियान।
जहाँ सोच वहाँ शौचालय।
कल मैं बड़ी मुश्किल में पड़ी जब प्रिया ने मुझे अपनी प्रॉब्लम बताई।
कल मैं अपनी गर्भ निरोधक गोली खाना भूल गई। मुन्नी अभी बहुत छोटी है, कोई रास्ता हो तो बताओ ना।
इस मुश्किल से निकलने का एक ही रास्ता है, इमरजेंसी कॉन्ट्रासेप्टिव पिल यानी ECP। अगर प्रिया की तरह आपसे भी ये भूल हो जाए तो 72 घंटे के अंदर ये गोली खा लें और बिल्कुल निश्चिंत हो जाए। लेकिन प्लीज याद रखिए कि ये नियमित गर्भ निरोधक उपाय नहीं है और बार बार लेने से हानिकारक हो सकती है।
अधिक जानकारी के लिए पास के सरकारी स्वास्थ्य केंद्र में संपर्क करें।
Welcome back. You're watching ISAT, and today we are talking about the need for financial inclusion in the country. Dr. Agrawal, apart from the operational difficulties that Mr. Sharma pointed out, do you see any other problems, any other shortcomings, hurdles in front of the bank?
There are a few problems which exist.
Yeah.
One is that you need, for opening any new branch, you need to have the permission from the Reserve Bank of India. You can't open it by yourself. So there is not complete autonomy with the banks. The second thing is that when I attended Board of Directors meeting, even at times I had chaired the meetings, I found that most often the agenda included about profitability, it included about how much mobilization of funds will be done, it included about loans and advances, how much we would like to concentrate on that. It never talked about expansion of branches. If we really look at the philosophy, in case of a market-driven economic system or capitalism, the focus is on profitability or maximization of wealth, But in a socialistic economy, it is always maximization of production, maximization of opening outlets. Now, maximization of opening outlets has never been an agenda on the board of directors meeting of any of the banks in this country.
And why is that?
They need to really do that, because they think that if we are able to mobilize our resources, deposits,
how can they be made to do that?
That is good enough, and that is very satisfying both for the CEO and the rest of the bank managers.
Yeah.
Expansion, suppose if you have 10,000 branches and you never think about opening 12,000 branches. Opening another 2,000 branches is serving the social cause. But 10,000 branches mobilizing, let us say, 1,000 crores and raising it to 11,000 crores, that attracts the attention of everybody and gives a pat to the CEO as well as the bank managers. But opening another 2,000 branches does not give the pat. Now, we need to really change the focus. That is a very important part. The another important thing in this case is that technology. N. Vittal, when he was a CVC, he has almost compelled, rather forced all banks to introduce computerization. Today, fortunately, as a result thereof, there has been an advantage. Ministry of Finance was also kind at that time, and it gave concessions that if you invest in computerization, whatever amount of investment you make, you will be getting tax concession. And even I was surprised that while attending State Bank of India Board of Directors meeting, that they did not even know that there was a concession available. And I suggested them that you can take advantage of this for the amount of money you have invested in computerization of this, and then you can take that advantage of it. Now, what I am trying to say that we need to really remove some autonomy, need to be given to particularly at least the nationalized banks, well established banks, and the banks which have large amount of resources with them. But what is needed at the same time is that the capital adequacy ratio of those banks who are given this kind of autonomy needs to be ensured that it is at least conforming to Basel II norms or Basel III norms, because any bank should not be given complete autonomy. We need to divide banks with A class, B class, C class. A class banks who may be considered to be most solvent and the best, and they may be given autonomy, and they need only to inform that we are opening these branches in these areas. And as a matter of fact, this should be one of the charters which is given to the CEO, that how many more branches you will open, how many more people you will employ. Employment is one of the important factors.
The performance of the branch manager, the CEO, could be linked with how many number of branches has you opened. But do you really see that happening, Mr. Sharma? I'm talking about what can be done. Essentially, I mean, the banking sector also needs to be brought in to chart this growth map, a roadmap for increasing the number of branches in the country. What can be done so that a bank will go to the rural area and open a branch there, or if not open a branch, then at least bring a certain number of people, bring every village in this country, give them an access to basic banking services. Even if not by opening a branch, then some innovation. What kind of innovation can be expected?
Yeah, we are an economy which is capital driven now. Earlier, when India took independence, then Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was there on a social platform. Now everything, as Dr. Agarwal was saying, then now everything is being taken from the bottom line. What is the bottom line? If the chairman is asking, if the finance minister is asking, he is saying, what is the bottom line? How much profits you have earned? How much dividend you have given to the exchequer? That is the main thing. If a focus has to be shifted, and if there is as Dr. Agarwal saying that autonomy has to be given, but autonomy, I don't think that any kind of autonomy can be given to anybody. Any bank, maybe State Bank of India, maybe Punjab National Bank, any bank is not solid enough, to be given a complete autonomy, because autonomy this year may be giving a negative impact next year. If you will go through the results of State Bank of India for last 3-4 years, you would see the present chairman was speaking very bad or weak about the earlier chairman. He said that most of the NPAs have not been accounted for. Now I am washing out the NPAs. So what is a strength? A strength is not in the system. A strength is there shown by a chairman or managing director. If we are coming to a platform where we are forced to open 20% branches you will have to open in rural areas, as the new policy says, at least 20% branches have to be opened in the rural areas. So now this will be a mandate that you will have to open, irrespective of profitability, irrespective of the deposits and advances of those areas.
Right.
As you were listening about the doctors also, that you know, if you complete your MS or whatever it is, you will have to go to the rural areas. So you will have to be open, you will have to open, you will have to go.
That's an interesting parallel. Shantanu, is that the same reason why doctors don't go to rural area, why doctors don't go to villages, and why banks don't go to the villages? Is that the same reason?
I think doctors don't go to villages because they realize they can't earn much. I mean, I'm not a government hospital, the earnings are much less than a private hospital.
Isn't that what the bank says too?
So the banks have gone to the rural areas, but banks probably have gone there and opened a shop, but they haven't made that effort to make a client understand that what is his advantages if they bank with them. I think today the need has come for a bank to try and make a client understand that these are the advantages of a financial services which the bank offers.
A financial literacy campaign.
A financial literacy campaign, but the bank has really done it. If the banks don't do it, so people, despite a bank being in the zone, they try and prefer to go to somebody with whom cash is easily available. I think,
and this is incumbent upon the banks themselves. Nobody else is going to do that.
Nobody else can do it.
RBI is not going to do it.
RBI is going to do it. They are sitting in Bombay. They can only monitor it. But it is up to the banks to push it. The banks have to go. I mean, I still believe if we have some little relaxation of the KYC, things might look better. But it is up to the bank managers to push the agenda. They don't do that. They don't make a client feel comfortable. They don't make a client make a client understand what are his benefits of the financial services offered by the bank. But as a result, the client really goes to the bank. He's in a rural area.
Can we expect some change in this scenario with the new players who are waiting in the queue?
I don't think so. I think new players will try and remain in the cities. They are not going to take that huge leap. It almost reminds me of the aviation sector. Every time a new airline opens its services in the country, they promise the government that they get the license on the condition that certain sectors they will have to do almost like a CSR, but eventually they don't do it. And then they say that, sorry, we can't do it because it's not profitable. So they're in for money, isn't it?
Dr. Agrawal, do you see some change in the scenario with the new players who are interested in opening up commercial banking, who are waiting in the queue for licenses for the sector to be opened up?
Yes, I think there would be some changes, but they might initially concentrate basically in those areas where they can really reap fruits rather than cultivate. And very important thing which bankers have not realized, because there is a paradigm shift in India over the last 2 decades, and that is land values and reality has really make people in rural areas very rich, because there are flats which are being constructed, land being acquired, and then the money being paid to those farmers, and that money need to be harnessed and brought into the system of the banking. They have not realized it. They think, oh, rural area there is no money as such. That's another important thing in my opinion here is that we need to really see that while there are commercial considerations which are important in this country, their social considerations cannot be ignored. And the last point I would like to make is that we need to really empower India by expanding banking as well as expanding education in this country.
All right. So expanding the banking structure in the country is a need of the hour, but it remains to be seen what kind of innovativeness, innovations can be brought about so that the banking sector really expands and more people are brought within the ambit of banking services in the country. That's all we have time for. Shantanu Guhare, Dr. J.D. Agarwal, Mr. V.K. Sharma, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That's all we have for you in this edition of Insight. Thank you so much for watching us, and do stay tuned to Lok Sabha Television for more. Namaskar.
ओफो, गैस खत्म हो गई।